you studied a lot in college.
Yeah.
But since you did that, do you think you've gotten the opportunities that you have right now because of the GPA?
No. I mean, I think so for
Might
example,
have helped a little though, right?
my GPA was like maybe like 3.85 or something.
That's
when
alright.
I graduated
Okay.
college.
That's
right?
fine.
It's mediocre at best. But
I was magma cum laude or whatever.
I can't even spell magna.
Oh,
cum
you're-
laude.
I'm pretty sure you just cursed at me.
Yeah, sorry, I don't speak
I
French.
would
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Levity. I'm your host Taman, joined here by
Phil.
HB.
and our special guest over here, the smartest man that I personally know.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah,
You don't know a lot of people. That's
I
why.
don't. He's like one of the 10 people I know.
No, it's Q.
It's Q. Introduce yourself. Give
Sounds
us
like
a little bit of like
cute name.
a cute name.
That's
Cute
pretty.
name?
Cute name. Q ramen.
No, cutie pie.
Cutie pie.
Yeah.
Cutie pie.
It rolls off the tongue real well. You've been
Yeah.
practicing this, huh?
Boy.
Yeah, he's been preparing for this. He's been preparing for
Nah,
this.
I can give a quick intro of
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, so my name's Q. Let's see. I'm a software engineer at Netflix right now.
Ooh.
I've been working there for about a year now.
I've heard of that place before.
Yeah, you've heard of that place? Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
More of a
It's like-
Hulu guy?
Huh?
Okay, get this guy out of here. So one of the things actually for me, I don't subscribe to any of the other. I don't support competitors. That's my motto. I don't watch Disney Plus.
Hey,
It's like, yo, you
I was
see
actually
Star
joking.
Wars?
I want to be a software
He
engineer too.
bleeds
It was a joke.
Netflix.
Yeah.
He bleeds Netflix.
I don't fuck with that.
No, it's just something about y'all's katung. It still gets me every single time, you know.
It's actually called To Doom.
To do?
That's the sound.
Hey,
Damn.
can you get the fucking facts right? To do.
Yeah, it's actually To Doom.
Are you
do.
still watching?
Yeah.
Are you still watching?
Well, we're not gonna dive all into that.
But yeah, software engineer. I've been working at Netflix for like a year. But I graduated college around like 2018, so I've been like working in the software like tech industry for about like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and actually I'm not usually I was born in Atlanta, but I've been like went to school in Chicago. I was like working in DC, and actually just recently moved back to Atlanta. So I've been to a lot of different places. I guess other thing is I work remote right now, so that's another thing.
Nice. Okay. Wait, how do you know Taman again?
How do I know Taman?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That sounds like a long story. Yeah.
We're like coding together since we're like 7 years old.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
fuck that.
Oh, you're the Hulu guy.
I'm the
No, let's see. I know Taman since like he was a fucking baby. He was
Yeah.
like I don't know, like he was in elementary school. Yeah, because I know his oldest brother,
Ah.
Jungkook, he's my age. And like I used to hang out with him a lot, go over to his place, like middle school, high school, and he'll always be there. Yeah, he'd be tiny. I just remember it was like he's so different. Every time I see him now, actually, when I moved back and I saw him, I was so shook by like how much he's grown up and he's changed so much. Because I knew when he was like a kid.
Now I'm fucking
Yeah,
shit
now he's
up.
wearing like a Winnie the Pooh outfit.
I know.
I'm a grown ass man in the
He's a
same
grown-ass
clothes
man.
as when he met me.
Oh, yeah, just
Actually-
a bear trying to get some honey, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of curious. What was he like when he was younger?
What was he like when he was younger? Oh, no.
This is a very
He was
like.
a
We're getting like the inside
He
scoop
was
right
a
now.
brat.
He was a brat.
And he'll always get his ass beat. That was the best part.
Hey,
Wait, hold on.
hey, we here now. We here now.
Hey, straight W's over
Yeah,
here.
straight W's over here.
Yeah, because he has 2 older brothers.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's like,
Yeah, now I beat their ass.
nah, that's not true either. But
Hey man, this is going public, dog.
okay, no, yeah.
Wait,
So,
wait,
yeah,
wait,
maybe-
How'd you get close with his older brothers?
no. Taman or Jungmin, who's like the oldest brother. We went to school together, so yeah.
I can't even remember back. Like, what did you guys do to hang out? You guys played a lot of games.
Yeah,
right?
back then it was Combat Arms. That was the
Combat
shit.
Arms.
Combat Arms on Nexon. Yeah,
I was more of like a CS.
CS?
Yeah, CS.
CS.
Source. 1.6? Source?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
1.6.
1.6, all that stuff.
Damn, I played that too a little bit when I was younger.
Do you
but-
think you gaming from that young of an age kind of gave you the interest to going into that CS industry?
Oh, I think 100%. Like gaming, I think this is why a lot of gamers are also in tech. To be honest, I think there is like some kind of linkage.
What do you think? I
there.
transitioned.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when you like, for me, it's like when you like play games and stuff,
Uh-huh.
you generally like play with computers more often
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
So like you like start figuring shit out, and like you like play with it. You figure out, oh, like how does this thing work? Like for me, that was like the thing that made me want to go into CS. Was like I like use this shit all day on a game, and like I like download stuff. I play around with the computer, like there's like viruses and
Yeah.
things at those times, and like I thought that was so cool.
For me, it's like so interesting because like I grew up playing games too, right?
Mhm.
But there was always 2 types of people. There are people who like play the games and wonder how the game was made, or they just play the games because they just blank mind. They just want to play. Like,
You just want to get your mind off things.
yeah. I mean, that
feel
and like for me, like gaming was just like another source of like I guess therapy.
Mhm.
You know, just going through there. But like I would have motherfuckers be like, "Yo, how do you think they like made this DLC? Like, do you think they like coded
not
this
worried
shit?" I was
about
like,
all that
I was like, "The fuck? I
Tim's
just
over
paid
here
a
like,
$49.99 and play this shit." Like, I'm not. But it's like so like interesting to me. Like, see, I wonder how people's mind actually like rotates enough to fucking. I wonder how the game is made. Like,
Yeah.
AKA problem solving.
Yeah, problem solving kind of mindset. And
Wait,
it's
so
just-
did you want to be like a game developer growing up?
Oh, I mean,
because of that route? Because
that-
for me personally, that was what I wanted to do initially.
Yeah, definitely like a little bit. It wasn't like a super strong like, oh, I want to do this. But like for example, when I was in college, like I used to play a lot of League when I was in college. So like for me, like my dream job when I was in college was like I really want to work at Riot. I thought that was like the coolest thing you can do. Cause you get like the Riot like name tag and shit too. I was like, I want that shit. Yeah, so I want to do it, but game development is really not the move, to be honest, unless you're super passionate. Cause
Why is that?
usually-
Why is that?
Yeah, usually how what game development is because there's so many people who wants to do it, people very passionate about it. The pay is shit, the work hours are crazy, but then you're doing something where it's like something you really enjoy and you're really passionate
is the
about.
pay really that much lower in game developing?
Yeah, so the way to think of let's like Riot, for example, they do pay really well, like or Steam, they do pay well. But like for people who can work at those type of companies, the hiring bar for Riot and Steam and stuff like that is really high. So for the same level of like if you're that smart or if you're that experienced, you could work at a lot of different other companies that will pay way more and have way better work-life balance. Most importantly, the work-life balance.
So that's why you got to be like really passionate about it, if anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you only do game development really if you're really passionate about game development. If not, why would you take less pay and more work hours?
So if you want
for a
for the
job?
money, don't do game development.
That's
feel
my
that.
mindset
I
about
feel
it.
that.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you're not out here trying to pump out like the new League skin or
Nah,
nothing.
fuck that.
No, but the Netflix specials that are coming out are
The
going
Doom?
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, so nah, game development's not really for me. But I mean, yeah, I haven't even really been playing too much games anymore either. So
You
what,
busy
what
like
have
that?
you been doing other than work?
work?
Like, any hobbies that you've been picking up?
Oh, gym.
Oh, gym. I mean,
Yeah.
he goes to Steel now. He goes to Steel now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he goes to Steel
Yeah.
Society now.
I say Tony all the time.
Yeah, Tony.
you know
Tony.
Tony.
He's always fucking
Oh, you
there.
know Tony?
Oh yeah, I mean I see him at the gym all the time.
Yo, that's our
no,
boy.
because I told him about Steel. I was like, hey, like a buddy of mine, like basically runs that place. But I mean, you've been working on a lot. I mean, you got bigger too.
Yeah.
Yo, why do I feel like nowadays, like
Yeah, you're falling into that like that swole tech bro.
yeah,
Like, trope,
no,
you know?
I was just about to say, yo, like there's two types of tech bros, right? The ones that make so much money but don't really spend it and stay at home all day. Or there's like the other tech bro that like his house is super clean and he's just working out from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then going out and coding till like 10 p.m.
No, it's definitely a thing. I was always gonna talk on this. Like, there is definitely like a tech bro stereotype,
Yeah.
and I'm like trying to get to like one of the things I think for sure is actually like it's surprising, but I think a lot of tech bros actually work out a lot. Like they go to the gym a lot too, which was very surprising for me. The other thing usually they're socially awkward. That's 100% true.
Huh.
I really think that's really really true.
I
No, but
see-
you're pretty you're pretty sociable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
But like most people are not like, how do I say this? Okay.
It's kind of hard to socialize for a lot of them because they like to be inside most of the time.
Yeah.
That's why they choose to be a tech bro.
I think there's a trend to that. So like example, right? When I was at the last company I used to work at, like sometimes I'd be in meetings with like people who are in sales and marketing and things like that. And the vibe is just completely different. Like everyone's like always like super happy. They're cracking jokes. It's very easy going, I guess.
Because
Right?
people person. Right?
Yeah, they're all people.
people
people
person.
person. That's kind of what I
Yeah.
mean. Like tech bros tend to not be people. Not saying like it's obviously a stereotype. I'm generalizing. Not everyone's like this.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
in general, like when you have a meeting with just like a bunch of tech people, like just software engineers, it's like hella awkward all the time.
Is
Yeah, it's
it?
like small talk. It's like
Communication's hard.
yeah,
man.
it's like small talk more than like it doesn't feel natural. I
You know,
guess.
what's the most like awkward encounter that you had to go through?
because everyone speaks this, like different languages. Like you speak Python and like I speak like JavaScript, and like it doesn't match
Yeah,
up. You know what I'm
sometimes
saying?
I speak English.
Yeah, we usually speak English, but no, but I think it's kind of so I work remote, so all my meetings are all like video chats, right?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it can be pretty awkward because like everyone will join, but we're like waiting for people
You just stare at each other.
and just like stare at each other, and everyone's on mute, and it's like the most awkward like silence, and I'm not gonna talk. Fuck that.
So like I know like companies, you know, they'll have like like get-togethers, right?
Yeah.
So how is it when you physically, get together in person with the other engineers and other CS people?
So that's pretty relevant because we had an event actually. I had to go to LA, where it was like a team event where we're all meeting up.
So that was like the new like Creed like release?
Nah, this was like a.
Do you guys do that? Have parties for like big releases that Netflix are about to drop, like movies?
There are events, but not like. I don't think the engineering people are really invited to those. Like, if there's parties, I don't know about those parties.
Communication part, huh?
Yeah, no,
TFTI.
but they do really cool things. Like they do showings. Like, so for example, like Bling Empire recently came out. I think they have the cast of the Bling Empire come also, and you like watch the movie. You could like do Q&A with them.
That's
things
fun.
like that.
That's fun.
Yeah. So but unfortunately I'm remote. So like. That's one of the shitty things about being remote is like you miss out also on a lot of the events and things. They're all like happen at the office.
Oh, so would you ever like move to LA to be like closer to that type of stuff? Or do you like being remote?
Wait, is the main office of Netflix in LA? Or?
No, the main office is actually Los Gatos, which is like in the Bay Area.
Would you call me?
Yeah, but I haven't even been there yet. There's 3 offices. There's like one in Los Gatos, and then there's one in LA, and then there's one in New York. And I've been to the one in New York and LA, but never the Los Gatos one. But
where is Los Gatos? What is Los Gatos?
Honestly, I don't know California that well. It's like an hour away from San Francisco.
Oh, it's in California.
Yeah, it's in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's in California. But it's like pretty cool because they even have shit like this where like they have flights, like private flights that go. Did you hear about this? There was like a news article about like Netflix like paying like $200K for a flight attendant or something.
No, what?
No,
wait, tell us more about it.
Yeah, they were like talking about it where like they posted like a job posting for a flight attendant and they were paying like a crazy amount, and then like people were asking like, yo, how do I get this job?
Oh, that's why they called me.
Okay, that's why you were missing that.
Yeah,
I got you.
No, but he's busy working at Hulu instead. So
okay, I see how it is.
Yeah, how'd you going into Netflix with a Hulu shirt on?
Yeah, I see. But yeah, they do flights like from LG to like LA like every day. They have like a 10-person jet.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh. So you can actually book that.
But is that for all employees?
Yeah, it's for all employees.
Because I know Netflix is a company that's a bigger company that doesn't have a lot of employees.
Yeah,
right?
So that's actually one of the really cool things about Netflix as a company is like if you look at the headcount, compared to all the other like big tech companies like Facebook or Meta, whatever, Amazon and stuff like that, the headcount is extremely low in comparison. Yeah. And the model I think is a lot of it just like get a lot of really, really, really smart people who work really, really well together, and like give them a bunch of freedom to execute on their own. Don't don't put so much like bureaucracy and things like that in between.
So you're basically the shit is what you're trying to say.
No. That's the culture of Netflix.
They have the Avengers
as their part of the culture.
So for example, one of the really interesting things about Netflix was that this changed now, but they only hire senior software engineers. So they only hire people with at least 5 years of experience. That was like that for all until just this year is when they changed that. And the idea behind that is just get really, really
So
smart
you were
people.
like on that line last year.
So for me, I was like around like 4-ish years of experience. So I was kind of like borderline. So, but like the idea is that you get a bunch of really smart people who are really, really like they work really well. They're very talented, and you give them a bunch of freedom. Just let them like work and think for themselves.
So did they just kind of give you an outline of a project and just tell you like go through with it?
It's more so there's like they don't try to force a structure on you. Like you have to do things the XYZ way. If you feel like there's another way to do it that's better, you should be empowered to do so. And you don't have to ask a bunch of different people for...
Netflix is a very open-minded company.
You know, and I love this because I think a lot of the issues of like education and anything like right now is the lack of creativity. Yeah. And like I feel like problem solving in itself has been kind of stripped away. So them just being able to be in a creative like space and just be able to make their own stuff whenever you guys want to, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty awesome.
Do you have to jump through like a bunch of different hurdles and stuff like that just to get like one thing done or something like that, right?
No, so it's like it's a lot simpler pretty much. There's less like work required for it. So I mean it's a pros and cons thing. Sometimes having some level of structure, and this is like common I think conflict that I have faced in work too, to be honest, is like sometimes when you're given too much freedom, you don't know what you're supposed to do. Like you don't know the right way to do something. Yeah. And you just have to kind of like think of it yourself. So like I think it's like, there is some balance to it. You need some level of structure and then to do your work. But yeah, essentially that was kind of like how it was. So for me, actually, I was pretty on the borderline. Like I was like 4.5 years of experience. So I'm very fortunate to have been able to like usually they don't even like give you an interview.
Oh wow.
In the first place. So I was very fortunate because I was able to get a referral in. And then that referral is kind of like the foot in the door that helped me get like the first
And
interview.
you like talk no jutsu.
Yeah, because
them.
without the referral, to be honest, I probably would have been just rejected like without even like any phone screen. Because they just see like, oh, you don't have enough years of experience.
Yeah.
It's usually how it would go.
I've seen like a lot of like YouTube shorts and TikToks on like people like doing these interviews in the CS background, and I've heard some like crazy ass questions that happen like in these stages of these interviews. So can you kind of walk us through like what kind of hurdles you have to go through to get into, I mean, to go through these interviews that you have with these big companies like Netflix?
Yeah, so it's actually a pretty standard process, which is pretty interesting. Meaning all the big tech companies, they follow pretty much the same
structure
of interviews. So usually, it's been about like a year, so I stopped studying for interviews.
How many stages of the interview are
There's
there?
a lot.
Really? It's like a 3-month process, right?
The
Maybe
whole
longer?
thing probably takes around like a couple months.
It's like
Yeah.
nuts because every time
Yeah.
I interview for a job, it's like 30 minutes. And then
Yeah,
yes
I
or
know.
no.
And then you just get the job.
Yeah. And all of a sudden I'm just
Oh my
like
God.
bagging up food and
And
shit.
then
But
it's normally you just telling them like, you know what? I knew I was gonna get the job.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
I swear I've never been to an interview that lasted longer than 30 minutes.
That's fucking crazy.
3 months? I'd rather just not work.
I mean, it's because isn't it because there's like a lot of like more so than behavioral, it's a lot of technical and technical and technical.
It's more so logistics because there's so many
Yeah.
interviews, and obviously you're not gonna do one by one like back to back like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's gonna be like you do one week and then the one next week and things like that. So the whole process usually looks like, obviously you apply for the job, and then like a recruiter reaches out to you, is like, hey, we're interested in you, and then they'll schedule a phone screen usually.
Then do you hit him with the I'm interested?
Oh yeah. I already got the job, right? No, so you get the phone screen, and then the phone screen is usually non-technical because the recruiter's not really technical. They're really like looking at your background, trying to get a feel for like who you are, and they'll ask some pretty basic questions usually. If you fuck up the recruiter phone screen, it's pretty bad. You most of the time you should just get through the recruiter phone screen without any issues. They'll ask pretty much about your background. It's more like confirmation, like what you put in your resume, like that you actually sound like you actually did these things.
It's not like you're lying. Or
Yeah, you're
something
not
about
lying.
it,
Yeah, and it's kind of like a screen for that, right? And then usually the first thing that comes after that is the first technical phone screen. So have you guys have you heard of leak code?
Yeah.
Yeah, leak code.
All the time.
Yeah. So like TLDR leak code is
Link code C++.
no, okay, get the
Middle name, dog.
Yeah, essentially leak code is it's actually like a website.
A problem solving algorithm
problem-solving
website.
challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like coding problem solving
Yeah.
challenges.
Taman forgot because he solved everything
Yeah.
already, but
Yeah, I remember now.
But essentially these problems are like, to be honest, it's very controversial actually, because these problem solving coding challenges that you find on leak code, they're nothing like the stuff that you actually do at work. It's like dumbass like math problems is kind of how you can think
They're
of it.
preaching to the choir.
Yeah. But like, why do companies even use these then still, right? Because it is still a good gauge to see how like capable you are.
Like logic based.
Like,
This is like how you
really
go about
just
approaching situations, right?
yeah, like what he says, isn't it more so like, oh, can you problem solve this? Then he
Yeah.
should be able to hypothetically problem solve all the other issues that we can task for him. or
The
her.
way I see it, it's not really that, because the type of problem you're solving is so different from real world problems.
Oh, okay.
Imagine doing like, it's like, imagine like physics problems and then like telling you to now go build a bridge. Like I guess like there's practical skills and
Well,
like,
you need physics
mathematical,
to build
like,
a bridge, though.
Yeah, you do. But like, it's like kind of like, it's a little different mindset, right? But I'm not saying that leak code is not a good way to do interviews though, because so I've done interviews too. I've done interviews for internships, like intern candidates at Netflix. Yeah. And
Let me know.
interviews. we're done hiring, unfortunately. You missed a vote. But like, what do I look for when I interview? Right? It's another way to think about it. And it's not really like you can give them any problem technically. It's really about like how they approach it. How do they handle it when they get stuck? For example, do they just like freak out? They don't ask anything and they just like nervously just start doing random shit? That's a really bad sign, right? Or is it like, if they get stuck, are they pretty open about it? Hey, I'm trying to do this. I wanted to do X, Y, Z. I tried to do A, B, C, but it's not working. What do you think the next best step? Like, what else can I try here?
Being able to break down what you're doing.
Being wrong can help.
Asking questions is very important.
So you just don't answer anything. Just be completely honest with them.
Yeah, I don't know shit.
I don't know shit. Wait, I don't even know what I'm interviewing for.
The idea is like, when you're doing these eco type problems, it should almost, as an interviewer, what I really like is if it feels like a collaboration, almost like they're working with me to solve
Oh,
the
interesting.
problem.
That's a very new way of
it's a different way, because when you're the interviewee, you think, oh, I'm just given a problem, I need to solve it, but it's really not like that.
But what happens when your teammate sucks in the collaboration?
Yeah, that's the problem. But anyway, so you have the leak code problem. that's usually that's sometimes like an online thing they send you, or like someone watches over you as you do it. So that's kind of like what I used to do, where you get them the problem, they solve it online on like a kind of code sharing editor, kind of like Google Docs but for coding, and then you just watch them do it, and you just like hopefully they solve it. They don't, then too bad.
You know, like I'm really glad we're having this conversation because I'm going through this like whole boot camp journey and trying to figure out the software engineering journey as well. And like I didn't go to college for software engineering, so I did this whole boot camp thing. Dude, it's tough, but like I just want to hear what's your perspective on boot camp versus a 4-year college degree. And plus, I'm sure you have your opinion like on, man, I could have done it differently, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So I think boot camp is pretty interesting because it's been popping up everywhere.
Dude, it's everywhere.
It's been crazy like these past couple of years. Yeah. I think boot camp, there's one thing I don't like about boot camp. I don't like how it's advertised. I feel like it tries to get in people who don't know what they're doing.
It makes it seem like it's free money.
And then exactly. They lure them in thinking like, oh, well, you just do this thing for 3 months and then you get a job.
Get rich quick.
Yeah,
scheme,
it's a get rich quick scheme is how they sell it.
Yeah,
I don't like that advertising method. It works because it brings in a lot of people.
And that's why it's so saturated. Right?
Yeah, and that's how they make so much money. But I feel very bad because there's so many people who don't know what they're doing. They see this and they're like, oh, it's like easy money. I just do this program for 3 months and I get a job.
Free job.
6-figure or something, right? And what tends to happen a lot is like they do the 3-month boot camp. They are not even like really interested in computer science or anything. So they're just kind of winging it. And then they finish and they don't know what the fuck they even learned. And they're not like actively looking for jobs as hard as they probably should because they're not really interested in the field. And they just end up with nothing. And then they end up with a bunch of debt and nothing to show for it. And I feel like that happens so often than not. And that's because they draw in people with this get rich quick scheme. So like, I'm not saying bootcamp is bad. I think it's really great. And actually there's someone on my team who is from bootcamp.
Really?
Yeah. So it's definitely possible.
Okay.
But I think it's like you have to go in with the right mindset.
It's possible, dog.
Hey, man,
Believe in yourself.
I'm really trying over here.
I know a couple other people who were actually successful with bootcamp too. So like, I know that it can work.
Then could you explain like what they did essentially? Not even for the people, just for me. Like, I'm really curious.
You selfish fuck.
I think the difference is like the mindset of going into it first. Is like you have to do it like knowing that you want to do it. Like you want to really do a good job.
Okay.
Is like you really have to be dedicated to it. I think is one important thing.
So it's like not wasting your time, actually dedicating your time.
Actually dedicating it, and like even doing sometimes more than whatever is that you're assigned in school.
Which will be troll because if you're spending that much money, like you would expect someone to.
You want to.
Yeah. Like, don't play League of Legends. Don't do other stuff.
Exactly.
Go do your work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I guess the way I see it is like, for example, like even after you finish boot camp, like I would, if you're like something that you could do is like you could keep working on additional projects just on your own. I used to do that too when I was in college. I would just build random shit just so I can have it on my my project.
Me.
All the time.
He's just like me.
What do you mean?
I used to my dorm room.
Just building random shit. Yeah, dude. I'm saying.
Building bridges with physics.
Cam actually made Valorant. You guys just don't know about it.
Honestly, I'm alright though.
You're right.
But, anyways, you were saying you're just like adding a bunch of projects, just doing this and that. You never did you really like push out and like try to meet new people?
I think definitely networking is really important. So
that's so hard in this.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. And like to be honest, I haven't met anybody really in tech in Atlanta really recently. So I mean I don't go too often.
Okay.
Is there like a certain group of people out here that's like?
I don't guess there is. But okay, so I guess differently. When I was in DC, like all the people I knew was in tech.
Wow. I mean it's like tech hub, right?
It is kind of a tech hub, and it's a lot of young professionals, like people who just got out of college. A lot of people just kind of go to DC usually. So like that was a very different experience, and it was so easy to network. Because like all the people I just met, they were already in tech. I mean, there are also a lot of people who work in the government and stuff too. But like that made it a lot easier for example, I've helped other people like refer to my company too when I was like looking. And then when I was looking for a job, it was so easy because like all the people who I used to work with, they left to different companies. I asked them, I was like, hey, can you give me a referral here? Like that. Yeah,
or
that's
you're just hella popular.
Huh?
Wait, what? Nothing.
So take me on a journey here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a pretty successful dude for at a young age that you are, right? How old are you, like 34? Well, What was that journey like from your college to where you're at now?
Okay, yeah,
What
that's
kind
actually
of hurdles did you have to go through?
Are there any regrets or anything you wish you could like redo and stuff like that?
Like,
he's not 34, by the way.
I'm 26. wait. Oh fuck, I'm like 27 now.
Damn.
God damn. Getting old pretty fast. But yeah, like I went to school in Chicago. And I have there's a lot of regrets I have for school, actually.
Okay.
I think that's kind of weird, but I regret studying so much.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean, like high school? Or
No,
You regret being
college.
so smart and just so diligent?
College.
Ah,
I
damn.
wasted so much time, so focused on GPA. Because when
what-
you're in high school, GPA and
Means
then like
everything.
SAT is like everything.
What was your GPA in high school?
I mean,
A 7.0.
yeah, I mean, it
God
was,
damn. That's like
I don't know.
that's like
I
3
was
times mine.
in the top like 5%
Of the world?
of my high school rank.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah, damn.
I
yeah.
don't
Pretty
remember
close
the
to the
exact.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Man, I was top 10% of the world.
Top
Easy.
10%.
Easy, bro.
But yeah, like I studied so much,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized after I got out of school that GPA doesn't really matter that much. The difference between like a 3.8 student and like a 3.6, like a 3.4, like when the person is looking at your job application after like a year or two of experience, like that shit really does not matter.
What about a 2.6?
2.6? Okay, so yeah, 2.6 would be kind of concerning. Fuck.
But it's a 2.6, but he has like so many projects that he's
Yeah.
That's what I was about to just
Yeah.
say. Like,
Okay, so
hella
if it's
internships.
2.6, but he has a lot of really great work experience, and when you like the recruiter phone screen, this is kind of what it's for. When they talk to you, you clearly seem like you're really really smart. So something you're just fucking around in school or something.
This is kind of a question outside the conversation, but like going back to the boot camp, when you put in like on your resume and shit, do you have grades that you put on from boot camp, or is it just like you have a certification from the boot camp?
So it's just a certification. So I don't have like a grade system. It's just pass fail. But I do a lot of projects. So that's probably the things I'm gonna be put on my resume. If anything.
So there's no grading.
Yeah, there's no. It's just a
Pass
certificate,
fail?
piece
Yeah, that's
piece of
pretty
paper.
good.
Like, hey, look, I
Yeah.
went to this thing.
All right,
Spent a lot of money.
What were you saying?
I was talking about college. Oh yeah, so yeah, just don't study so much.
Yeah.
That's my focus. I wish I like.
Don't go to college, kids.
Yeah, that's the main takeaway.
That's
actually.
the lesson. No, so okay, if you're really career focused in
Mhm.
school, and like let's say you're right now a freshman in CS at some college right now, like my recommendation, if you really want to do really well career wise, is focus on internships. If you're a freshman and you feel like you can't get any internship, look at like just message professors, email them like, hey, is there any research opportunities that I can do for the summer, and things like that.
What's the thing you say? You're never gonna make the shot you never take, or something like that.
You miss
You
100%.
miss
Yeah,
100%
shot you don't
shots
take.
you don't
Yeah.
take.
So that's my regret because
Mhm.
freshman year I did nothing because
Nothing's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even work. I was just, I
You
just
were
chilled at
studying.
home.
I actually majored in nothing. It's pretty cool, actually.
So I mean, you said you you studied a lot in college.
Yeah.
But since you did that, do you think you've gotten the opportunities that you have right now because of the GPA?
No.
No?
I mean, I think okay. So for
Might
example,
have helped a little though, right?
my GPA was like maybe like 3.85 or something.
That's
when
alright.
I graduated
Okay.
college.
That's
right?
fine.
It's mediocre at best, but
I was magma cum laude or whatever.
I can't even spell magna.
Oh,
cum
you're-
laude.
I'm pretty sure you just cursed at me.
Yeah, sorry, I don't speak
I
French.
wrote
Yeah, I want to be the magma
Yeah.
queen.
magma queen.
Is
Yeah.
that what is
That's
that?
like top 10%.
Is that like the dean's list?
Yeah, kind of. It's like the top 10%.
I told you, he's basically the shit, dog.
But like, what I'm saying is like, I wish getting like a 3.8 versus a 3.6
Mhm.
is a very big difference.
Mhm.
Actually, you have to study really, really hard in order to get a 3.8 because like the difference between A and A minus is like 93, scoring over 93.
But it ain't worth
and that
it.
is really fucking hard. And I wish I studied less, and I would be happy with like a 3.5, for example.
And that's pretty good at what
Yeah.
school you were at
yeah,
least.
yeah.
Wait. Which school did you go to?
Oh, I went to Northwestern University.
Okay,
in
that's
Chicago.
awesome.
Yeah.
Why? But why do they call it Northwestern? It's on the east. East.
It's northwest of like the northwest of Chicago. Yeah.
But there's a northeastern too.
There
right?
is, but it's in Boston.
Oh.
They don't
Look
want-
at that shit,
they
miss.
don't
So
wanna
both the
plagiarize.
west and the east are back in the east.
Yeah, they're both in the
Yeah, I'm
east.
spitting right now. I'm spitting.
The bars. The bars.
my god.
Wait, so pretty much in what you're, holy crap, what you're trying to say was, instead of working so hard in college for those like what 0.2 GPA
Yeah.
higher, you wish you were more lax about it, or just taking internships overall than studying that much harder.
If you're career focused,
Mhm.
so for me actually, I wish I took that time to enjoy college more. That's my big regret.
Like partying more,
Yeah, party more.
like actually.
Yeah, like actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, let
because
go,
that
man.
is really
Let
like the
loose.
4 years of your life that
Mhm.
like when else are you gonna have that kind of environment?
Individualism
where,
and just like learning.
Being around people all your age and all like just starting out your kind of like independent life. You'll never get that again. Pretty much.
Were you involved in like clubs and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was. And I did. I mean, it's not like I just stay at home literally all day and just study. I did meet people and I was in clubs and things like that. I did go out. But it's just like, I wish I did more of that rather than like study so hard.
Yeah, there wasn't as much like a balance, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like if you're someone who like don't care about partying or whatever, use that time and use that to like find internships, study for interviews. Do that instead. That's way better.
If studying or your GPA or whatever you did wasn't the reason you got opportunities, so what do you think really highlighted how you got these opportunities?
Okay, yeah, that's a really good question. So I guess if I go through my first job, my first internship, I made minimum wage.
As a developer?
As a developer.
Like
I was making like, I don't know, like 13, 14 an hour.
Were you developing like McDonald's sandwiches? Like what's going
No,
on?
it was like for this like, and this is like my big regret is I wish I spent more time studying and like applying for internships because I could have done it. It's just that I didn't even know how to approach it. I didn't have anybody telling me like this is what you're supposed to do.
Like analysis paralysis.
Yeah, because like for me, I was like, you go to college, you just go to classes and you study,
and then you do the next thing. No one really teaches you how to like survive.
Yeah, nobody teaches you that you're supposed to be like studying for interviews and to be applying for internships, like starting like winter quarter for your summer stuff. Like I didn't know any of that, and I wish I knew that better and spent more time because I didn't do any of that shit. So I ended up with some garbage internship as my first job. But like having that experience at least was way better than having nothing.
Yeah, that garbage internship molded your anger.
Yeah, and also that they kind of did. I was like, I'm not like I was so mad at myself for like taking something like I could have changed that so much. I could have gotten somewhere better if I just started earlier. If I knew all these things, it wasn't that like I was like stupid. It was just I didn't know about these things.
But at the end of the day, it's pretty hard to beat where you're at right now.
Yeah. So like, how did I get from there?
But do you think you could have gotten here sooner if you?
Oh, 100%.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let me keep that in mind.
Yeah, because like for example, like if you're like I'm thinking about like my friends that I had when I was in school. They would have like from sophomore year they would have internships at like like FANG companies, right? And then junior year they would usually get like a return offer, or because they already had an internship already from somewhere really, really great, it's very easy for them to find their next internship.
A different FANG company.
Yeah, and then by senior year, they'll either get a return offer, which means they're set already for full time at that point, or like they get another internship. And now that person has 3 internships over me, where I worked at some no-name place.
And that
So what position would they get if you guys were interviewing for the same?
It's not that you get a different position. It's just that when you're a new grad applying for your first job out of college, that person that I just described would have a much easier time getting into like all the top tech companies.
Like for me right now, one of my issues is like a lot of these companies I want to apply for is minimum 1 year as a junior developer. But how am I supposed to show that I have 1 year of experience if I never had internships or any other experience?
Or get a chance.
It doesn't make sense. So them having that advantage of time and just interning in random places just always is advantageous compared to like the average person that didn't do anything.
So how many internships did you do?
So I did 2. I did one at this garbage place, and the other one was like even like it was a student internship. Like we had like a in our school we had a program where students can create their own startups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So like,
did they fund you too?
Yeah, it was. I made $3,000 for the whole summer.
So it's like a Y Combinator type of situation.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and I got that as a scholarship from my school. Like it's not that the startup was paying me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I was like making that's $3,000 over 3 months is like nothing.
$1,000 a month.
Yeah, it's like $1,000 a month. I mean, I made it. I was like living for like $400 a month for rent and stuff like that. I mean, I was living college life, so I made it work. But like, and then so that's kind of how I started. And then the first job I was applying to a bunch of different places in Chicago, and like, yeah. And then I somehow found that this company that was in DC actually. While I wasn't even looking for a job in DC, but I got the interview, and I mean, I was studying like that senior year. All I did was study I didn't go to class. I just studied for interviews, like lead code questions, and like behavioral interview prep, and like apply. So like I would apply to like 10, 20 places every day. And just like keep finding.
Did you even do the beginner lead code questions, or did you just skip that and go straight in media?
Oh no, dude, lead code was fucking. I'm dumb as. Lead code is hella hard.
No. I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah.
What kind of questions are on link code?
It's hard to explain.
Lead code is more like.
It's like those questions like 100 apples in the pickup truck.
It's like this, like 8. Okay, like given a list of numbers, write something that finds all the duplicates.
They're numbers.
See, that's why I say that's
Or like if there's a 2 and a 12, they both have 2.
Yeah. exactly. But you have to write a program that's able to detect that.
Yeah.
And say like, oh,
I can just tell you the answer now. What's the point of me building a program?
The idea if you build
what happens when there's like a 2 million numbers?
Yeah, 2 million numbers.
Can you do that by hand?
Give me some time. just calculate it.
The interviewer is like, hey Taman, like you can't do it like that. No, just give me some more time. Just relax.
Yeah, at least I'm being honest. Like, give me the job.
But yeah, so I guess in terms of your main question was like, how did I get from like where I started to like where I'm at?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the biggest thing was, to be honest, is I study a lot. I do really work really hard. There's no way I could have gotten here without like other people's help. Is the biggest thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like the person like for me, the really big thing for me was at the first company I worked at in DC. Like my manager there was amazing as like a coach almost.
Okay.
So he
like
really he was mentor. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was a really great mentor for me, like for all the technical things, and he helped me really grow to become a lot better at work, kind of stuff, and also like career wise too. So he helped me a lot in that aspect, and I think without having had that growth, and he really pushed me to like pretty much like be better and then like explore better opportunities.
Like
what's his name? Can I reach out to that guy? I want to be better.
I could do that to you
So
later.
would you see him more as a mentor, as like as everyday life to life, or like technical, or was he a good mix of both?
It was actually a little bit of both, which was surprising because for me, I always felt like I had to keep work separate, kind of actually, but he's also like just like how you should live, kind of thing. Yeah, he gave a lot of just like very good like mental mindsets, like emotional,
like good life advice.
Like good life advice, like emotional intelligence, for example. That's something that's not necessarily only work related, right? Being an emotional intelligent person.
But it does like matter at the workplace when you're working with other people.
Yeah, that's why he'll help me with it too.
Yeah.
But then that applies to my life overall. So I thought that was always interesting.
You know how we were talking about how like some software engineers are like kind of awkward and stuff like that. Being the vet you are now, how would you approach networking and stuff like that because of that awkward hurdle in between, like actually like meeting and talking to people?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
As in, I'm trying to think.
Always been like, he was pretty like open and
and sociable.
He's sociable. So
I mean, but just because he's sociable doesn't mean they are. So how do you approach these more introverted people?
Code off.
Okay, so I guess if you're in school, it's not that hard because I think there's a lot of there's like usually things like hackathons where a lot of people get together and a lot of you can meet a lot of people.
Can you explain what a hackathon is?
Yeah, hackathon is usually like they spend like it's like a bunch of people get together. They work on a project for like 24 hours, like overnight.
Just straight.
Yeah,
so
just straight.
It's like a competition with a theme.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to like.
And these are all like coding projects.
Yeah, it's all coding projects.
Damn.
So it's like an event. Like everyone goes together for a specific like place, and then there's a theme, and everyone's trying to like collaborate with other people and try to see who can make the best project within this theme.
That's crazy.
Within a given amount of time. So I'm sure you attend a whole bunch. Yeah.
And like to be honest, I went and just like got free food and just like slept.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You gotta get something out of
that
it.
college life is tough sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess networking is really hard. I mean, like we couldn't talk about like maybe LinkedIn is kind of a decent way, but I feel like it's really hard if you don't already have it in. And that's kind of what I was talking about, like how when I was looking for a new job, the way I did it was I reached out to all my previous coworkers who I used to work with.
Oh, so that's a good way to getting your in.
Yeah, that's how I did it, and I was able to get a lot of really great referrals.
How about like your fellow students that you graduated with?
Yeah, that works too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like from what I've been hearing, like referrals is pretty much the cheat code in today's like getting a job. You kind of need to either be so good at the interview and so good at talking, or you just have a person that has an in.
Yeah.
That's able to kind of eliminate the process of like a lot of the other perspectives, because if you get an in, that means this person matches my company culture, so it automatically filters a lot of the other things that people normally kick out.
Yeah.
Right.
The way I see it is referrals always just a foot in the door. Referrals never gonna actually get you. If you get a referral in, and they interview you, like the recruiter, the first phone screen interviews you, and they can clearly tell that you're not experienced. Then that's a no-go.
Yeah, they're expecting SpongeBob and they got a doodle bomb.
Exactly, yeah. Like from a recruiter's perspective, it doesn't matter if you were referred or not. They just see you as a candidate. Like referral just gets you the first interview with the recruiter. So I think referrals is really beneficial for people who are new grads though.
I see.
Because for new grads specifically, where they don't have like kind of you're talking about, like a lot of places are like you need at least 1 year's experience to even apply. Like if you're really good, like if you feel like you're talented enough to be you're qualified for the position, but you're not getting it because you're just being filtered out by these like arbitrary standards. Then I think that's when referrals is like a blessing because it gets you the foot in the door, and as long as you do well, like you will get that job.
Because generally it's like an algorithm just sorting through these random resumes.
It is. Yeah, because they'll just see your resume. They like recruiters spend maybe like 2-5 seconds to look at your resume. To be honest, like they can clearly tell right from the beginning. Oh, no experience. All right.
How many applicants do you think they go through during a hiring season?
And
how many people end up actually making it towards that?
It's hard for him to tell though, because he's not even in that.
But I feel like if you get towards that last stage, you kind of know who's in that trial or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amount of applicants is crazy because anybody can apply.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure they have a filter system with like a bot.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it automatically kind of checks your resume and sees if it's even worth looking at to begin with, and then from there the recruiter just gives it like literally 5 seconds. And he's like,
so it's like just like a college application.
Pretty much.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to when you said you were hiring, you were applying for maybe like 10-20 internships a day.
Yeah.
How many callbacks did you get from doing that?
Oh, not a lot. I think it's been a long time since I was in.
If you did it for a week, that's at least like 100.
Okay, maybe I was exaggerating. I applied in total like 100, at least like 10-20 a week. I would say, because also you start.
That's still a shit ton.
You still run out of companies to apply for.
Do you start having to expand like where you can go?
Yeah, so then I was looking at Chicago because I was going to school there, but I was looking the tech like Bay Area and stuff like that too, because I was like that's where all the tech jobs are. But like callback wise, it was really low, like maybe like 10% of the places I applied to. I get it's like something like my whole.
I heard that's actually a pretty high number.
The whole thing was I think I got like 10 phone screens, and then like 5-ish I went into the first round with. And then from there, I like got like an on-site interview with like maybe 2-3 companies, and then I was able to get an offer. So I didn't go, and so I got an offer from one of them that I decided to go with. So like it is, you funnel down really fast. You apply it to a bunch of places, but once you get the first interview in, though, usually it's like a decent success rate.
Do you think there's something that like an interview is like specifically looking for that kind of catches their eye? Because I mean, if they're going through 100 applicants a day, there's going to be a pattern. It's going to be really boring, right?
Yeah, they check to see if you have that Patagonia vest or not.
Do you think you have like an industry like trade secret you could possibly like do every interview that'll kind of get their eyes a little more open about you?
I don't know if there's anything in particular, but like I mean, you gotta have experience is the biggest thing. So if you don't have experience, you have to have at least put down projects that you worked on. Or projects that you're building, and then share your GitHub repository, whatever your source code.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard that like the things that really. Fuck you. Anyways,
go ahead, dog.
Yo, what you did.
I hate this guy. Anyways, holy crap. The two things that I've heard that's like pretty like looked or sought out for as a recruiter is, are they good at talking? One, or if they're not good at talking, are they so intelligent at what they're doing that should I consider hiring him, or just going to the technical?
I think you need a little bit of both. Really, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's very important. So that's actually one of the things like Netflix calls out explicitly. They don't want to hire people who are really, really, really smart but cannot communicate properly. That's a no-go.
Oh, really?
Because then you can't work with that person.
Okay.
It's just so hard. It just kills like collaboration.
I mean, like you're explaining, Netflix is an open-minded company, so I mean that'll just cause argument. I feel like if you just bring in someone super technical, right?
Yeah. So like I think tech. I feel like tech in general, when you think of like what a software engineer does, in general, you think that they're coding like 8 hours a day, but from my experience, it's really not that. A lot of it is just.
It's only 9 hours a day.
Yeah. You collaborate a lot. A lot of it's just like meetings and talking with people, making sure you guys are on the same page about doing things, or like discussing like, hey, how should we approach this problem, right? And like talking about it and being like, oh, I think there's a problem with this. Who should I talk to? Like, it's a lot of it's just like collaboration and being able to communicate really well. I think it's like 50-50. It's equally important, pretty much, as like tech skills. So.
You said like until like last year they were only hiring like senior engineer type people, right? 5 years of experience. So is like everyone on the same like level, or like is there like what's going on there?
So this is really feisty actually because
who do they answer to?
Yeah. So when I first joined and before all this change happened, where they were only hiring senior engineer, literally the only software engineer title was like senior software engineer. No matter if you had 30 years of experience, like 6 years, everyone was so dope, senior software engineer.
Everyone's you just see a whole SWAT team full of senior engineers.
Yeah, but like people knew though that like, you know, like people had an idea that like, you know, this everyone's a senior software engineer, but like obviously it's like some people who are really really experienced and some people who are not as experienced.
It's like SEAL Team 6 of like CS people.
But like if you're in the tech industry, like in FANG, like all the top tech companies, they have a system. The system is actually pretty consistent across all the top. It's so weird how standardized everything is, to be honest. There are all these different companies, but they follow the exact same paradigm.
So same, but different.
Yeah. Like Meta will call it E3, E4, E6, while like we call it L3, L4, L5.
Oh.
But those are just levels.
Those are chess numbers.
Is that chess rankings?
No, this like isn't like E6.
On the board and shit like that.
On the board.
Yeah, but like how it works is like L3 you're a new grad, L4 you're like software engineer 2, L5 you're senior software engineer, and L6 is like lead or
so
something.
at this point you're like an L17 or some shit.
No.
So
I like that ranking.
You're basically like challenger.
Yeah, no.
in CS
I was hired as L5, which would be like gold, I guess.
Like golden league.
Yeah, it'd be like gold.
League.
Maybe
Yeah,
like
so how do I
gold
get a
three.
job when I'm like trash 4 right now?
Oh, how you get if you're trash 4? You gotta grind, bro.
Shit.
Fuck,
Not enough grinding.
Is there any cool like projects you're working on right now that you can share?
Oh wow,
Projects
yeah.
that I'm working on.
Can you
Let's
give us like
see.
an in?
Not any like accept these user agreements type stuff.
He's about to change the Netflix sound from
like,
Hadoop to like something else.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, probably not too much. No, I work within Netflix. I work in the marketing technology org. So I work really closely with our marketing teams on like.
It's like the posters.
Yeah, it's like kind of like that. Like we have a bunch of social media accounts, for example, like thousands of social media accounts. Like how do you manage like all the posting schedule for all these different accounts globally?
You make code for
Netflix
it.
has that many social media accounts?
Yeah, they have a
probably for each country too.
Yeah,
right?
it's because you have to think for every single country. So they have Netflix Poland, Netflix Ukraine, Netflix Russia.
Holy.
And like within that, you have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you have shows like Wednesday and like all these different shows even have their own pages. So like, how do you coordinate all those things? So like one of the things I work on is like an internal application that helps like marketers like coordinate all those things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn, that sounds like
Sounds like something like we need. You know, I'm actually curious. If it wasn't for software engineering, what would you do? Or if you had to start over, would it be software engineering again?
If money wasn't a concern.
Yeah. Like what's your passion?
When I went to Northwestern, I went in the School of Education and Social Policy.
Social policy.
I wanted to be a teacher.
You wanted to be a teacher?
Yeah, I love teaching.
Wow.
It's one of my passions. Like,
Teach me, daddy. Teach me something.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Wait, so do you plan on coming out and teaching CS after?
I kind of thought about it, to be honest. If I was like, retired or something, or like, I was like financially stable and like money was just not a concern, I would love to do that.
Oh, so you could be like the next Joma Tech or something and have your own course and stuff?
Yeah. So like, to be honest, the reason why I went to this podcast was kind of that vibe of like, I wanted to help people like in that kind of way. Like,
you're staring at him. And he's staring right back.
Staring right at you. I'm trying to help someone.
Right here.
Trying to find a mentee.
But yeah, like, so that's been a really big passion for me. Like when I was in high school, I used to do SAT tutoring. Like when I was like a junior, senior, I tutor a lot of people. I mean, SAT, math, like just a bunch of shit. And I love doing it.
What's your opinion on teachers in today's society?
Teachers in today's society?
Just like how teaching is and like what is your like view on it?
I don't think it's changed in the last like 100 years.
I think it's
No, I'm saying like, do you like it?
Like,
or do you feel like how people teach and in general is like shit?
Honestly, I don't know. If like, I guess it worked for me.
I mean, that's a good point.
But you're one of those kids that could teach themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like, there are people who work better in like a structured or organized like classroom environment. And there's other people who are like kind of more creative, I guess. And they don't work very well in those kind of environments. So I could see kind of like something like that not being best. But yeah, I mean like teaching, I would never do it because it's garbage pay. It's just like it's like not a living wage.
Yeah, teachers gotta get paid more. That's my personal opinion.
I really think so too.
No, I watched this news article about these like teachers who are homeless.
Really?
They're teachers, but they live in their car.
Wow, that sucks.
Because they said they get paid like 38 grand, and after taxes and stuff, they're left with like 4 or 3K a month.
What do you really do? How can you really?
And if you have a kid too at that point,
and everything's getting more expensive as well, it's kind of fucked, bro.
You know eggs? You know how much those shits are?
Yeah, dude.
What are they, like $12 a gallon? Or not gallon,
a
a dozen?
You buy gallons of eggs, where?
That's a lot of gallons.
No, those shits are expensive.
He said $12 a gallon.
But, like, CS people, I think, I think it's a great industry for like younger kids to have that I made it moment early in their age, like in their life. Because, like when we were kids, if I heard some kid that's like 24, just got out of college and did his internship is making like 150 grand, that would have blown my mind. But nowadays, it's like, the offer, like the rebuttal I got is not even 6 figures. Like I might consider going somewhere else, which is like nuts, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's fucking insane. So I hear a lot of like people that started in this industry like in the mid 2010s, early 2000s, and they worked for about 10 years in the corporate, like computer background, and then they retired after that and then started their own startup. Do you have any plans of doing anything like that after, what plan do you retire? You plan to retire like the corporate industry?
To be honest, I don't have like, do you know like FIRE? Like
FIRE?
Yeah, it's like financial independence, retire.
Oh no,
I thought you
yeah,
meant
yeah.
No. I was like FIRE? Yeah, FIRE?
I'm kind of lit right now.
Yeah, so like I think a lot of tech bros are really into this, especially because they have such like usually a lot of tech companies nowadays are just paying insane amounts, so they're able to really just if they cut down costs a lot, they are actually able to retire like in their 30s, 40s.
It's wild.
It is actually possible, but to me, like I'm not really too big into that. Like I don't
But
have like
do you want to have
more
your
of a
own
water
company
guy?
at one point though?
No. Oh, sorry.
Huh? My bad.
Wait,
Bad joke.
Do I want to have my own company? Not really.
No,
I'm not like entrepreneurial. Yeah, I'm okay with just like working. I mean, maybe like a CTO would be pretty fun. But and like I think definitely I would want to work at a startup because it's just a completely different vibe when you're at a startup. It's like you own so much of what you do.
Yeah.
And it's really like it's fun. From
I feel like it's more exciting.
Yeah.
Because you're on the edge. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your make or break moment.
Yeah, it is. And you have so much ownership over what you're doing, and it's usually like cutting edge stuff that you're working on. And you usually like if you work for a startup, it's usually because you're really passionate about whatever the product is. I feel like so.
What are the pros and cons of accepting a job at a startup?
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure, it's the stability is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Startups can go.
I feel like because they promise a lot in the beginning of when they offer you a job.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the company goes under, then the stock options don't mean shit.
Yeah. So okay, that's another thing. Like some people go into startups thinking like, oh, they're giving me like 100, 200K in like stock options.
But they're not even public yet.
Yeah, they're not public yet, and it's that's literally a lottery ticket. Is how you should think of it. People don't think of it that way sometimes, but it's really a lottery ticket because most startups will never go public. If they never go public, those stock options are literally worth nothing. You can't sell them anywhere.
But what I'm wondering is like they'll offer you like 7 figures in stock options and a 200 grand salary, right? But before the company could even go public, and it's been less than a year, they just go under. How do you get the rest of the money of your salary back? Like, can you sue them or something?
I have no idea. I mean, they would give. I have no idea how that would work. But yeah, that's kind of why I don't want to work at a startup until like later in my life.
What is a startup? Like, how can you call it? Like, I could make an LLC tomorrow and then say like I have a startup.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
That's technically
But
true.
I feel like startup is like something.
We're a startup. What do you mean?
Yeah.
HTTP LLC. But like I feel like I hear the word startup only in the
For
tech industry.
Yeah, I think it's just a tech name for an early company.
But even at that point now, like when I think of startup, I think of at least like a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah, because like I don't know startups too well either, but they usually have like a series of funding. Usually you have like angel investors who are like people who invest in you when there's like nothing. They're just investing in a dream kind of your company getting big. And they have like Series A, Series B, Series C, and even like Series A, they're usually like $1 million is like how much they get funded, but they're still a startup. I feel like until you get to like a mid-sized company, like 200 plus people.
That's a mid-sized company.
500.
How many people does Netflix have?
I think it started at 10,000. But okay,
well, that's a lot more than I thought. Holy
the
crap.
last company I was in was like around 1,000 employees. I would say that's a mid-sized company. Yeah.
How many companies did you work at to get to Netflix?
So it was just one. After my new grad job. Yeah, I've only worked at one place for 4 or 5 years.
What would the next step be? Because you're a senior engineer at a big company. What would the next position that someone would move on to after senior engineering if they do stay in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, the way I told you there's like levels, like L5 is senior,
L15.
and then
You're 17, right? L17?
I wish I was 17. But it's like L6 is like lead, and then like L7 is like principal or something. To be honest, I don't have like super big.
Is there like a Grand Master of Engineering?
Oh, yeah, there is.
What the freak?
Oh, fuck, I forgot the name of the position.
No, because like, like Ford has like mechanics and stuff. But when they made the car, the Ford GT, the $2 million car they came out with, there's like a specific 5 engineers in the world that are like the Ford GT. So like when you see one of them come in with like this leather jacket, this is GT.
It's like, oh, there's that guy.
Yeah, and all the Ford GT engines have a name of the engineer that worked on them. So those are like the legendary masters of like the car mechanic world. Sheesh. So is there like someone in the who's that guy who made Mojang or Mojang?
Mojang.
That guy.
Oh, the Minecraft guy?
Yeah, the Minecraft Nord.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Like he was pretty. He was like a god.
Yeah. I don't think we have anything like that at Netflix that I know of. But like at my last company, we did, because they were like at my last company, there were people like the highest like position was called an architect. Was the level, but there were people who were working there since the inception of the company, and they like built the core, like the foundation of everything.
And is there celebrity in like the tech world that's like, oh, like this guy's the Tiger Woods of coding?
Yeah, do they like retire your jersey number at the end of it or whatever?
Dang, I don't know if there's anything like that. I guess maybe like, yeah, I don't know if there's anything like that. I guess there's like historical figures.
Bill Gates.
Yeah, like Bill Gates is probably a big one. Like Alan Turing is probably a big one. He's like the father of computer science. You don't know Alan Turing?
Alan Turing?
Yeah, you gotta watch that movie. The Game.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, it is on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's perfect. Doing some sponsorship right here.
For real. It's an advertising company right now.
Yeah.
Hey, but we're also like reaching like an hour mark. So is there like, did you want to?
You have a message for the kids out there that want to be like you?
What's one word of advice that you would give aspiring like software?
Or imagine you like coming out of college and you wish you heard these words before getting in.
I tell you to stop fucking studying. Go like try to look for a job instead. Shit.
But like watch more Netflix.
Yeah.
So prioritize going out and socializing and networking, and instead of focusing on your GPA.
I think it's like don't focus too much on GPA. Try to have a good time in college, but also balance it with, if you really care about career, it's not like just do a bunch of school stuff. It's like think about like how do you get internships. Start looking at that and like hang out with people who are interested in that shit too.
He's also saying he's not saying though don't give a shit about your college.
I'm telling you, kids could fly.
Yes.
Open your window. You kids can fly.
That's not what I mean. Yeah. I'm saying don't think that studying, like school studying, is the only important thing. It shouldn't be your
main priority.
It's not the only main priority. It's like you gotta have a good balance of everything. Like your social life is really important. Like career and like studying and like applying for jobs over the summer is really important. Studying is also really important too. They should be equal, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Facts.
Don't go to college.
Or that.
I'm not subscribing to that. But all right, with that, we're the Levity Podcast.
Yeah, and thanks so much for Q to come on. Hopefully we'll have him back as a reoccurring guest. Who knows? Shit.
We'll see.
Appreciate it, Q. See you guys later.
Right, bye.
See you guys later.